What's your roll number?
Good morning, sir. Good morning, sir. Good morning to all the participants and welcome back on the second session of day 4. Now among us we have a Dr. Prasenjit Chatterjee. Prasenjit Chatterjee is currently working as a Dean, Research and Consultancy at MCKV Institute of Engineering, West Bengal, India. He has been associated with Institute of Engineering and Technology, Thu Dau Mot University, Vietnam, and City Institute of Engineering and Management, Jalandhar, Punjab, as a visiting researcher. He has over 100 research papers in various international international journals and conferences, and authored and edited more than 22 books on intelligent decision making, supply chain management, optimization technique, etc., and has received numerous awards. Dr. Chatterjee is also editor-in-chief of Journal of Decision Analytics and Intelligent Computing. He has also been a guest editor of several special issues in different SCI Scopus Index journals. Dr. Chatterjee is also one of the developers of two multiple criteria decision-making methods called measurement of alternatives and ranking according to the compromise solution, and ranking of alternatives through functional mapping of criteria sub-intervals into a single interval. So today he'll talking about the new decision analytic model for industrial robot selection. So on the behalf of Manav Rashna, I welcome you, sir, and I request you to kindly take over the session.
Thank you, Professor Khosla, for inviting me and giving me the opportunity to share some thoughts about new decision analytic model for industrial robot selection problem. So am I audible, everyone? Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Okay. Okay, thank you. So let me share the PPT first, and then we'll discuss.
Yes.
Okay, is it visible? Is it visible? Hello? Hello?
Yes, sir, it is visible.
Okay. And my voice is clear? I hope I am audible to all of you.
Yes, sir, audible.
Okay, thank you. So basically, today the talk is the title of my talk is a new decision analytic model for industrial robot selection. So let's proceed with today's slide. So before going into the details of today's talk, so let us start our day or the talk with a famous quote from Professor Davy Crockett, which states that be sure you are right and then go ahead. So basically, this particular talk is based on the concept of decision and decision making in the context of industrial robot selection problems. So a decision is one when there are different things we need to do, and we have to pick up on any one of them. And as we all know that there are many instances in our daily life or in our mundane lives when we need to take lots of decisions. So basically, a decision is a choice made between two or more available alternatives, and it is the process of choosing the best alternative for reaching our objectives or the set goals. Now, so basically, there are few things which are associated with any decision-making problems, and we can say that there are 1H and 5Ws, and these 1H and the 5Ws are fundamentally associated with any decision-making problem. It can be like who, if our central focus is on considering a particular problem, then the first thing that normally comes to our mind is that how the problem occurred. Then who caused the problem. Then the next question can be like where the problem occurred or why the problem occurred. Then when the problem occurred and what are the consequences of the problem that we need to face. So based on this 1H and 5Ws, we can identify the problem. And once the problem is identified, we can take or we can initiate the decision making environment for solution for getting an appropriate solution of the problem. So now if we talk about a typical decision making process, so as I said that first we need to frame the objectives for what type of goals or for our what type of objectives we need to solve the decision making problem. So first we need to set the objectives, and then based on the objectives we need to identify the problems. Now once the problem is identified based on 1H and 5Ws, we need to analyze the problem. And to initiate the analyzing stage, first we need to collect some data regarding the problem. If it is choosing the best option for the problem, then the data collection process will fundamentally have like the identification of the alternatives, in this particular figure, say X, Y, and Z are the three alternatives that have been identified, which are directly associated with the problem. And once we identify these three alternatives, the evaluation process will start. And based on the evaluation, that means based on under evaluation process, the analytical approach or the mathematical modeling or the decision analytic models can be used for evaluating the alternatives based on some predefined criteria or factors. And once the evaluation process is done, then we can go for the selection. And once the selection is confirmed, or when the selection stage is performed, we can go for implementing the results. But in between selection and implementation, there is one more phase, which is called the testing phase. That means after application of the mathematical model, once we get the output of those models, now whether the outputs are feasible or not, that we need to inspect. That should be checked. And if from the testing phase, if everything comes okay, then we can directly go for implementation. But if the testing phase, if the results of the testing phase do not seem to be okay, then we need to either check for the information, and again we need to go back to the problem statement, and based on our objectives we may need to redefine the problem, and again the analyzing phase will initiate. And once the output of the system is implemented, we need to collect the feedback information, and that feedback information must coincide with our earlier set objectives. So this is a typical decision making process. Now, so basically for analyzing the problem, because once we identified our objectives, and based on our objectives, when we set or when we structure the problem, the main or the critical phase of analyzing any problem or getting the output from any decision analytic model is the analyzing the problem. In which way we should analyze the problem to get a proper output. So first we need to structure the problem. That means we need to define the problem. And once the problem is identified, or once the problem is structured or formulated, we need to identify the alternatives, and we need to identify the criteria. And based on this criteria, the alternatives will be evaluated. Now, this evaluation or this analyzing phase can be of two types. The first type is called the qualitative analysis, and the second type is basically called the quantitative analysis. So now under qualitative analysis, it means that means the analysis is purely subjected to the decision maker's opinion, experience, perception, and judgment. That means under qualitative analysis, there is no application of any mathematical analytical model, or mathematical or analytical models are there. But under quantitative analysis, it is purely based on some mathematical and statistical tools. And here, the involvement of the decision maker's judgment, opinion, or experiences, and the involvement is less as compared to the qualitative analysis. Okay. Now, now introduction to multi-criteria decision making. So basically, the multi-criteria decision making, which is popularly known as the MCDM, is concerned with those situations where a decision maker has to choose the best alternative from a finite set of alternatives while considering a set of conflicting criteria. If I go back to the earlier slide, as I said, that based on the defined problem, we need to identify the alternatives. And these alternatives will be evaluated based on some predetermined criteria. So when we have a number of alternatives and a number of criteria, and on the basis of these criteria, the alternatives are to be evaluated, So that type of situation or that environment is actually called multiple criteria decision making, which is popularly known as MCDM. Now, as we all know that the main objective of any decision making process or decision support systems is to assist us to take appropriate decisions, and those decisions must be consistent with our set goals and objectives. Now, as I said that we face lots of decision making problems in our daily lives, like for finding the best laptop model, or selecting for the best paper presenter in any international conference, or if we need to analyze any energy systems, or locating a hospital on an airport, and thousands other cases are there which we face every day. And in each of the cases, we need to take an appropriate decision which will be the best fitted one for our objectives, so that our objectives can be satisfied in a most efficient way. So these are the examples where the multiple criteria decision making models can be vastly applied for getting some authentic or some realistic results. Now, if we talk about the common elements in any MCDM method, or in case of any MCDM modeling, so there are basically 4 fundamental items. The first one, as I said, the alternatives. That means the alternatives that are to be evaluated if we are looking for, or if we are trying to buy a laptop model, then the laptop options or the model options that we have in a laptop shop, so those can be treated as the alternatives. And after the alternatives are identified, we need to set some criteria, like, or these criteria are also called as the factors or the attributes. Like for buying a laptop, there can be different types of attributes, like the RAM size, the price of the laptop, then the operating system used, then the hard disk size. So these can be termed as the criteria. And once we have the criteria and the alternative list, we can have the relative importance of those criteria. And obviously, finally, the measurement of the alternatives in terms of the criteria. Like if we have 4 laptop models, and if we set 3 criteria, like the price, hard disk size, and the operating system installed. So for all these 4 laptop models, and for the 3 criteria, we can have some numerical values. So, and those values are called the measurement of the performance of the alternatives. So once we have this matrix, and this particular matrix, that means the list of the alternatives, the names of the criteria, and their respective numerical values, this particular matrix is called as a decision making matrix. Now, once we have the matrix, that means the information we have already collected, or the data collection process is already done. Now, once the data is collected, the actual modeling interfaces initiates. And once the application of the mathematical model or some analytical models are done, we can get some aggregated results. And based on these aggregated results, we can make our recommendations for that particular decision-making problem. So the first 2 phases, that means the information or the data collection, and the interface, that means the modeling process. So these 2 phases are called basically the construction phases, because during this we need to construct or we need to structure the problem. And the rest of the 2 phases, that means the aggregation or the actual calculation and the recommendation, so these are termed as the exploitation, because based on the constructed or structured problem, we need to exploit the problem by application of some mathematical or analytical models. So the second phase is called as the exploitation phase. And this particular structure is applicable to any decision making situation, whether it is related to industrial robot selection problem, or whether it is related to a laptop selection, or for selecting a best paper presenter for any international conference or something like that. So this is a very generic model which can be utilized or which can be applied for any decision making situation. Now, so this is basically the the flow algorithm of a typical decision making process. So the first step that we should initiate or we should start with is the problem identification, then the problem exploration and the information processing, that means the data collection. And once the data is collected, sometimes it may not be very practical to analyze all the collected data. So some initial screening can be performed to shortlist the feasible alternatives. And once after the initial screening, once the matrix, that means, as I said, the decision matrix is developed, the modeling process will start. And after application of that particular mathematical model or all the calculations, or when the information about the alternatives, about the criteria are aggregated in terms of some calculated values or performance scores, then the results can be obtained. And based on the results, we need to go for the sensitivity analysis. That means the testing phase or the inspection phase. That means whether the obtained results are acceptable or reliable or not. If we need any further analysis, then we need to go back to check if the calculation or the application process was right, if the modeling interface was correct, if the data collection stage was accurately performed or not. But if there is no further analysis required, then based on the sensitivity analysis, we can make the recommendations. But it is always recommended that for any decision making situation, sensitivity analysis is a mandate or is a mandatory step which must be performed by any modeler or by any decision maker to check the reliability or to check the acceptability of the obtained results. So this is basically a typical decision making process with its flow algorithm. Now my today's talk is basically based on the integration of two well popular MCDM methods. The first one is called as the step-wise weight assessment ratio analysis method, and the SWARA method. And the second one is called as the combined compromise solution method, COCOSO method. And this integrated model has been used for a selection of industrial robots in a real-time case study. This particular SWARA method is actually used to calculate the relative importance of the criteria, as I have already shown in my earlier slides, that once the alternatives and the criteria are identified, we need to give some preference priority, or we need to give some importance to the criteria. Like if for that particular laptop selection model, if we set 3 criteria or 3 parameters like the price, then size of the RAM and the size of the hard disks. Sorry. Now for me, the price can be the most important parameter. For someone else, the size of the hard disk can be more important depending on our requirement.
The father of the work is Pantoff Kidsons. So first Pantoff Kidsons doing for Fortran, then C, then C++ for 1995 C. After that, Johannes work in 1997 C++. After 2001, the research work. Classifications to be implemented. So this order, you are doing the research work. Starting if you are doing the research work, first you can take to 2021 also, okay, no problem. 21 to go back.
Ma'am, am I audible?
What's the origin? Then after find out, you have to touch the origin. Then you come back to origin to dentist.
Professor Khosla, am I audible?
To identify
Yes, sir, audible. There is a disturbance.
Or 1985 to 90, what's the gap? 90 to 2000, what is the gap? 2000 to 10, so little bit more enhancement. 10 to 15 also enhanced. Now 21 is more and more. So just
Surekha Kamat.
Oh, sir, actually participants unmuted themselves. Now you can.
Okay. Thank you.
Sorry, sir.
Okay. Now, so basically, once the alternatives and the criteria are identified, then is the PPT visible to all of you? The
Yes, sir,
slides
it's
are-
visible. It's
Okay.
visible, sir.
Okay, now once we identify the alternatives and the criteria, then we need to give some relative importance, as I was saying. That means, say, if we talk about the laptop selection model, then if we set the criteria as, say, the price of the laptop, then the hard disk size and the RAM size. So these are the three parameters or criteria based on which we need to select the best laptop model and out of the available laptop models in the shop. Now, for me, the price can be the most important criteria or factor. For someone else, depending upon his or her requirement, the hard disk size or the RAM size may be of highest importance. So it depends from person to person. It varies from decision maker to decision maker. So we need to give a relative importance to all the considered criteria. And this particular SWARA method can be effectively used to calculate the criteria weights or the criteria importance. And this SWARA method is basically a subjective weighting technique which is based on decision makers' opinion and perception. It requires less number of pairwise comparisons, and the mathematics which is involved in the SWARA method is very easy to express, and it also makes the process very simple for expressing the human judgments along with its capability to rank the criteria to determine their relative importances. And this particular method was developed by Professor Stanijuk et al. In 2015, and the first paper of SWARA was published in Engineering Economics, and the volume number was 26. So with this, so let us try to understand the mathematical modeling of the SWARA method. So actually, for any SWARA method or for any MCDM method, first we need to identify the criteria. Now, once the criteria or the alternatives are identified, so under SWARA method, the first step is to sort the criteria with respect to their expected relative importance based on the opinions of the decision makers. That means, based on the opinion of the person, we need to sort the criteria according to their expected importance. Like for the three criteria for the laptop model, if I say that price is more important, then hard disk size, then the RAM size. Okay, so this is the order in which we can sort the criteria. Someone else will say that no, the RAM size is the most important one, then the hard disk size, then the price. So this can also be one order. So in any of the orders, depending upon the requirement or situation or opinion of the decision makers, we can first sort the criteria with respect to their expected relative importance. Now, if there are number of decision makers, in that case, the preferential orders or the relative significances of all the criteria are indicated by an integer rank ranging from 1 to 5, representing the most significant rank. That means if a particular criteria is of most important, then its rank and a score will be given as 5. And if a criteria is not so significant, but it is important but not so significant, then a point of or a score of 1 can be given to it, with the respective intermediate rank values. Now, once we have all the information, sorry, the average rank values can be calculated. Now, from this equation, we can see that the average rank value, the TJ bar, can be calculated by us taking the average or the mean values, where the TKJ indicates the ranking assigned by the kth respondent to the jth criterion, and R is the number of decision makers involved. Now, once these average ranks are computed for all the criteria weights, the QJ values are calculated by dividing the average value of each criterion by the sum of criteria priority values as indicated by the following equation. Now once these QJ values are estimated, and there can be some differences in opinions of different decision makers. So in order to avoid the differences in opinions, these QJ values must be treated as the initial weight values or the SJ values, and accordingly we need to readjust it. Now starting from the second criterion, the group of decision makers is again asked to express the relative importance of the jth criterion in relation to the j-1 criterion, and this particular ratio is called the comparative importance of the average values or the SJ values. And once these SJ values are identified, we need to calculate a coefficient which is called the coefficient of values for the criteria Kj using the following equations. And once the Kj values are calculated, we need to calculate the actual weights or the recalculated weight, the Qj value, by following equations. And once we have the recalculated Qj values, we can actually find out the relative importance of the criteria Wj. So Wj basically is basically the actual relative weight assigned to a particular criteria. And this particular equation is used to calculate the actual weights of all the criteria. So as you can see that the particular model Swara is very simple in mathematics, and it is very easily it can be apprehended by any of the decision makers who may not have a sound mathematical knowledge. So a strong mathematical background is not so much required to apply this method, and that is why we have adopted this particular method. Apart from that, this method also has many advantages that I will be talking in my next slides, in the future slides. Now, once this particular the relative importance of the criteria weights are determined, we need to rank the alternatives by the application of one more decision analytic model, which is called the combined compromise solution. That means if we again consider the laptop selection model, so we had basically three parameters. The first one was the price, second one was the RAM size, and third one is the hard disk size. Now, up to the earlier slide, we have only done, or we have only calculated the relative weights of the three criteria, like how much price is important, how much hard disk is important, and how much RAM size is important. But we have not yet identified which laptop model is best. So to identify which laptop model is best, by considering the weights of the criteria, the application of one more NCTM method initiates. And this method is called the combined compromise solution or the COCOSO method. And this method was developed in 2019 by Yazdani et al. And the first paper on COCOSO was published in the journal Management Decision in its 57th volume. And this particular COCOSO method is based on the concept of, or is based on the integrated concept of two well popular NCTM methods, which is known as the weighted sum product method. Weighted sum method and the weighted product method. So once we combine these two methods, a portion or a major portion of the COCOSO methods can be developed. So if we talk about the details of the mathematical details of COCOSO method, so it starts with the development of the initial decision matrix, as we already discussed. And once we have the decision matrix, the next step is to apply some mathematical equation for normalization. And COCOSO adopts linear normalization technique to make all the elements of the decision matrix dimensionless and comparable. Like for the laptop selection model, we had 4 different laptops, and say we have 3 criteria: cost, RAM size, and the hard disks. Now the unit of cost is can be in dollar or can be in Indian rupees, but the size of the hard disk or RAM will be in GB. So the units of the different criteria may be different. So we need to make them dimensionless so that all the values can be mutually comparable. So this particular step is called the normalization step. And the COCOSO method adopts linear normalization technique. There are different types of normalization techniques like vector normalization, where the square root is used. Some nonlinear normalization techniques are also used, but it adopts the fundamental linear normalization techniques for the benefit criteria and for the cost criteria as for the following two equations. Now, in any MCTM method, the criteria can be categorized under two segments. One is the beneficial criteria and one is the cost criteria. Now, the cost criteria means the price. That means for which the lower values are always desirable by us. But there are certain criteria or parameters for which we always need or for which we always prefer higher the better, like the size of the hard disk, it should be always higher. Then RAM size, it should always be higher. So for those criteria for which higher values are mostly preferable, they are called the beneficial criteria. And like the cost or the environmental pollution or the negative impact of the environment. So these type of criteria should always be lower the better, and those criteria are termed as the cost criteria in case of MCTM environment. So for a beneficial type of criteria and for non-beneficial or the cost criteria, so two separate equations are used for normalization in COCOSO method. Now, once the matrix is normalized based on the concept of WSM and WPM method, that means the weighted sum and the weighted product methods, the SI and the PI scores of each of the alternatives are calculated by the two simple equations. So SI value indicates nothing but a weighted sum score of each of the alternatives, where I is the alternative and J is the criteria. So SI means the performance score of ith alternative based on the concept of weighted sum model, WSM model. That means it is nothing but the multiplied value of the normalized decision matrix and the weight of the criteria that we earlier calculated using a Swara method. And weighted product means it is just the weight will be in the power. So it is based on the concept of the weighted product of the WPM method. So once we have these SI scores and the PI scores for all the alternatives, three different appraisals score values for the alternatives are calculated by these following aggregation operators. And these operators are basically called as the KIA, then KIB, and the KIC. So, and all these calculations are purely based on the SI value and the PI value that we already calculated in step 3. Sorry. Now, once we have the three different appraisal scores, we need to aggregate them to find out an integrated or a compromise overall score for each of the alternatives by using this equation. And the best alternative will be that one which will get the maximum KI value. Okay, that means the alternatives will be ranked based on the descending order of their KI values. And the alternative with the maximum KI value will be selected or will be identified as the best alternative. So this is the simple concept of COCOSO method. Now, in the next part, we will see an application of this integrated Swara COCOSO method for a spray painting robot selection problem. Now, if we talk about the spray painting, so and as we all know that the spray painting is a technique where a special device is utilized to spray a particular coating, mainly paint, ink, or varnishes, etc., through the air onto a finished surface. Now, during this particular spray painting operation, some compressed gases can also be used. In most of the cases, normally the air is employed to atomize and direct the paint particles towards the targeted surface. And basically, with rapid industrialization and rise in automation, these painting robots have gradually been evolved out as an effective substitute to manual spray painting operation. And it also ensures the reduced human effort with better working environment, increased consistency, then higher productivity can be ensured. The flexibilities are increased with lower power consumption and minimum paint wastage. So these are the advantages of the automated spray painting robots as compared to the manual spray painting. And usually the paint robots can be considered in case of two types, like the hydraulic robots can be used, or the electronic robots can also be used for these painting purposes. So the hydraulic robots are actually robust in construction, and they offer high load capacity and provide simple solutions for fulfilling the explosion-proof standards. And they are also a very low-cost alternatives as compared to their electronic counterparts. So and also with respect to speed and then repeatability, sorry, flexibility, the electronic paint robots are far superior as compared to the hydraulic robots. And these electronic robots are highly accurate and can deliver consistent, seemingly identical results with respect to thickness and uniformity in coatings. And it also eliminates the risk of human error, and they, when paired with other automatic painting equipment, they can also maximize the efficiency of the spray painting operation. So basically, one thing I should mention here is that although their initial cost of the spray painting robots is quite high, but they require less mechanical maintenance due to their modular design. And with the help of a suitable software, algorithms, sensors, and cameras, they can recognize what parts of the products are to be painted using the right amount of paint for a flawless finish. But obviously, most of the paint robot types require proper preventive maintenance and intervention of technically knowledgeable support staffs for their operations and selection of some of the specific operational parameters. Okay, sorry. Okay, now for spray painting operation, a 5 or 6 axis, that means the degree of freedom, robot capable of complex arm and wrist motions is usually preferred. Among these axes, there can be, or there are basically for the base motions, and remaining axes are for the applicator orientation. And as we all know, that degree of freedom is the number of independent parameters required to completely specify the configuration of a mechanism. So the number of axes configured in a robot is directly related to its degree of freedom. Like, and if we talk about a simple example, like for a simple straightforward operation, like it can be material handling, or it can be a pick and place task. A simple 4-axis robot is sufficient enough. But if its application is constrained within a small confined space, with its arm requiring a lot of twisting and turning, then in those operations, a 6-axis robot would be a good choice. The number of axes thus depends on the type of application for which the robot is intended for.
and obviously it is a fact that more access provide better flexibility. They can also provide the better reach. So hence, while considering and solving an industrial robot selection problem, the most important decision is to evaluate what kind of application is this and for what kind of process the robot would be used for. So in order to fulfill the requirements of today's modern manufacturing industries, selection of the spray painting robots has now become much varied due to the availability of plenty of alternative robots in the market with different configurations, complexities, and sometimes the end users are so fascinated with a particular robot that they do not examine whether the required parts can be painted more quickly and inexpensively with a less costly alternative or not. So that is very important to consider. And many times we have seen that a robot is selected for a painting operation without sufficient analysis of the application requirements. So while selecting a robot for any given painting operation or task, so some due considerations are required to be provided on its various specifications and capabilities. Like we can talk about the space requirement, then ability to paint the dissimilar parts at high production rate, speed, then the purchase cost of the robot, including the additional expenses for integrating it into the paint system, then its cycle time, the simplicity of the robot programming, its repeatability, then work envelope, payload, and mechanical weight, obviously. So there are different parameters based on which a robot has to always be selected. So, so we can propound that the identification of the most appropriate robot from a pool of available alternatives from the market with respect to a set of conflicting evaluation criteria resembles to a typical multi-criteria decision-making problem. So in my next slides, I have considered spray painting robot selection problem, a real-time spray painting robot selection case study for an automotive industry based in Kolkata. I have taken it as a case study for this application. That means the integrated SWARA and Kokuso method. And based on the opinions of some of the experts associated with the robot industry and the automotive industries, the subjective weights were calculated and those weights were calculated using the SWARA method, and we also took the opinions of those experts. And the Kokuso method helped us in deriving the ranking order of the different alternatives for the spray painting operations. So basically, the table 1 actually shows a comprehensive list of past references or past researches on different industrial robot selection. And as I already mentioned, that the selection of a spray painting robot from an array of alternatives as available in the market is a typical MCDM problem, and the presence of conflicting evaluation criteria like the high speed with low power consumption, high efficiency with reduced initial capital investment. So you can understand, if one criteria is higher the better, the another criteria can be lower the better. So there can be a mutually conflicting a situation, and this type of situation often makes the problem more complex. And also it is and this particular table 1 shows us that till date no endeavor has been put forward by any of the past researchers in identifying the candidate robots for any spray painting operation. So this is one of the research gaps that we identified, particularly in case of automotive industries. And on the other hand, the applications of SWARA as a subjective criteria weight calculation tool and COCOSO as a ranking tool have never been explored in industrial robot selection problems, particularly for the spray painting operation. So there is also a lack of studies related to comparative analysis of different NCDM methods for solving the industrial robot selection problems. So, so basically, now if we talk about the case study, in order to apply this integrated SWARA COCOSO method for solving the spray painting robot selection problem, we shortlisted 12 alternative robot models from 6 different manufacturers, and they all have 6 degrees of freedom system, and their operational performance and to assess or to evaluate their operational performance, we identified 7 criteria, and this criteria you can see from the list, like the payload P in kg, then the mass of the robot in kg also, and the speed S in meter per second, the repeatability RE, that means it can be plus minus in millimeter, the reach of the robot arm in millimeter, cost in US dollar, it can be converted to INR also, and the power consumption, that is the kVA. Now, among all these criteria, the payload P and the speed S and the reach RC, they are the beneficial criteria that we already talked about. That means for this type of criteria, the robot for this type of robot selection criteria, we will always prefer that the robot alternatives must be having higher values. But if you see the properties like mass or the repeatability, because the repeatability is basically measured in terms of an error, or the cost of the robot, so they should always be lower in values. That means they are the cost criteria or the non-beneficial type of criteria. Now, the payload is the weight, including the weight of the end arm tooling and weight of the product, that means the spray gun and the pen that is used or that a robot can lift. Although its higher value is always recommended, but its maximum value, or rather we should say that the extreme value of this particular criteria may also adversely affect the performance of a robot by slowing down its speed and increasing the cycle time. So that point must be considered. So selecting a robot not only depends on its payload, but also it requires a comprehensive consideration of other criteria like the robot's own mass, and this particular mass also plays an important role when it needs to be mounted on a conveying system for automated spray painting operation. And excessive payload and higher mass will definitely increase the inertia of the robot and abating its performance. So these type of considerations are highly important for selection of any robots or for any type of applications. And obviously, the robot speed is the rate at which the spray painting operation is performed, and it can be directly related with the productivity of the robotic system. So basically, the robot speed mainly depends on the cycle time that the given task needs to be finished within, and the due consideration of for both acceleration and deceleration of a robot from one point to another point. And repeatability, as we all know, that it is the capability of any robot to consistently perform the same task with minimum deviations. It ensures defect-free painting of all the components or parts, and normally its value ranges in between plus minus 0.05 millimeter and 0.02 millimeter. But the value of 0.05 or 0.2 is highly recommended for this type of industrial applications. And if the application process is particularly relatively tough, or rather we should say that if the application process is relatively rough, for packaging operations or for palletizing operations, the robot needs to have, the robot needs not to have high precision. So that is also important. And reach is the distance from the center of the robot to the fullest extension of its arm, and it also determines the work envelope of any robot. And cost is related to the total capital investment for purchasing the robot from the vendor for a specific operation, and also it has some relation with the power consumption. And this power consumption measures the total electric power required to operate the robot. And as we can understand that lower power consumption provides cost savings as it is treated as an input to the device. So with these considerations, table 2 shows provides the initial decision matrix consisting of 12 alternatives and 7 criteria for solving the spray painting robot selection problem by our adopted integrated Swara Kokoso method. And the information regarding the technical specifications of the considered robots were collected from the catalogs and the websites of the different robot manufacturers, and few of the values were calculated from experimental processes as we performed a few experiments here also, and few of the data were collected from different robot manufacturers and their handbooks. And for this performance analysis, we actually consulted 3 experts for estimation of the subjective weights of the 7 criteria using the Swara method. And they first sorted with respect to their expected relative significance based on the anonymous opinions of the 3 experts while fulfilling the basic requirements of spray painting operation. And those 3 experts were called for different meetings. A number of meetings were conducted, and after mutual discussion and brainstorming sessions, the relative significances of the considered criteria were estimated. And so basically, if we talk about the background of the experts, the first expert or one of the experts is a managing director having around more than 25 years of administrative experience in a spray painting division of a large aerosol company based in Kolkata. The second expert is a quality control manager with around 12 to 15 years of experience in powder coating industries. And we had one more expert, which is basically a project manager or in charge of the project. And the person is also having 15 years of experience in managing paint and wall covering functions on contracts and product submittals. And you can see that based on the anonymous decisions, these were the preference order in which the criteria were sorted. The maximum importance, according to the expert's opinion, is assigned to the procurement cost of the robot, followed by P, that means the payload capacity. That means cost and payload, they identified as the most 2 important criteria. On the other hand, the mass of the robot, they gave, according to their opinion or experience, it should get the least significance. So these were the order of the criteria. So now, based on this order of the criteria, we need to apply the rest of the mathematical equations of Swara method to calculate the numerical weights of this criteria, so that the weights of the criteria should match with this preference order. So so now this particular table 3 depicts the criteria weight calculations as we performed using Swara method. Now in this table, the concerned experts expresses the relative importance of each of the criterion in relation to J-1, that means 6 criterion leading to the estimation of a comparative importance of the average values. And now the equations that we have already shown earlier the values of the coefficient Kj and the recalculated weight values, that means the Qj values were respectively calculated. And finally, the relative criteria weights were computed using the equations that we have already seen. And it can be unveiled that according to the set preference order of the criteria, that means the order that we just saw, C has the maximum priority weight, followed by P, while M is the least important criteria. And these are, and this particular WJ column, this particular WJ column indicates the final weights of the criteria, and all of you can see that according to the set preferences, C must be the most important one, and M must receive the least importance among all the criteria. And here you can see that C received 0.28, that means the maximum weightage, whereas the mass of the robot received only 0.08. So it indicates that C is the most priority or most important criteria, and M, mass of the robot, emerges out as the least important criteria. So now moving forward. So and now, following the procedural steps of Pocoso method that I already shown, the initial revision matrix that we already saw, first it was normalized to transform all of its elements within a range of 0 to 1, considering the beneficial type and the non-beneficial type criteria. And in this particular table, the corresponding values of the sum of the weighted comparability sequences SI and the power of the weighted comparative sequences PI, that means the two SI and the P values were calculated based on the WSM and the WPM models that we earlier discussed. And using this information, the corresponding values of the three different appraisal scores, that means KIA, KIB, and KIC that we have already seen, those three values are estimated and which are aggregated together to derive the final appraisal score of all the spray painting robots. And we can clearly see that the alternative A10, I could not show the actual names because it is a part of our state DST funded project. So the names we cannot publicly disclose until the project gets finished. But in the latter slide, I have slightly shown the names. So you can see that the alternative number 10 and the name is basically the manufacturer is Fanuc. It is one of the finest models of Fanuc. Occupies the top position in the ranking list with the maximum appraisal scores, followed by A9. And this A9 model is also made by Fanuc, but the model number was different. On the other hand, the minimum preference has been given to the first alternative, that means the A1 alternative. And this particular robot is a robot from the Kawasaki model for this particular spray painting operation. So we can see I have marked the row value in red, then to indicate that the alternative A1, which is basically a Fanuc model, has received the rank 1, followed by another model from Fanuc also received the rank 2, and the least one is from a Kawasaki model. The name and the symbol of the model is A1. So these are the ranking order that we derived. So from this we can say that alternative A10 is the best robot for the particular considered spray painting operation. And now, so this particular figure shows the ranking positions of these robots and a relatively high payload speed, then moderate reach and mass, and relatively low repeatability, cost, and power consumption. It justify or it support the selection of the Fanuc model, A10 model, as the most suitable spray painting robot. Now, it is interesting to mention here that while calculating the appraisal scores, value of the corresponding the tuning parameter in COCOSO. I have shown that in COCOSO there is an associated lambda parameter, and this particular lambda parameter may play an important role in influencing the final selection decision. And the behavior of this Swara-COCOSO method while ranking the robot alternatives may vary with the varying values of lambda. And this particular phenomena is studied in this figure. And we can observe that from this figure, we can observe that for all the possible values of lambda, the position of the top two and the last two spray painting robots in the derived ranking list remain unaltered, although there were some marginal deviations in the positions of some of the intermediately ranked robots. So we can propound that the adopted Swara-COCOSO method is quite robust, being almost unaffected by the changing lambda values which is associated in the COCOSO method. Now, to test the further or to study the effect of lambda value on the ranking patterns of the alternative robots, we also further went for a one-way classified analysis of variance. That means we also performed ANOVA with the null hypothesis that the variation in lambda value, that means the treatments, have no effect on the rankings of the alternatives. And the results of this analysis is given in this particular table. A p-value greater than or equal to 0.05 is not considered to be statistically significant, and this particular table shows that strong support for the null hypothesis, and it implies that the null hypothesis, that means all lambda values have the same effect on the ranking patterns for low dimensional problem, is retained, and the alternative hypothesis thus was rejected. So it also supports that the ranking model that we obtain by the application of the Swara-COCOSO model is much reliable one. Now, we perform some other tests also for validating the efficiency or efficacy of this of the adopted model in accurately ranking the alternatives. We also checked the performance of the adopted model with some well-popular MCDM methods like TOFSys, Beaker, Kopras, Promethi, and Mura methods. And in this particular comparative analysis, the criteria weights technique, that means the Swara remains the same. Only the MCDM ranking methods were changed. And this table provides the ranking results for all the considered, integrated figures. This particular figure shows the corresponding Spearman rank correlation values, and for almost all of the cases, the p values will remain less than 0.001. And from this figure, we can see that A10 FANUC and the FANUC model is identified as the most preferred choice. On the other hand, the worst chosen robot alternative is from one of the models manufactured by the Kawasaki. Okay, now the next model is basically in this figure, the weights of the 7 evaluation criteria were further estimated using other subjective weighting techniques apart from Swara. Like we applied AHP, Paprecia, BWM, and the recently developed FUCOM method, and keeping in mind the preference order of those criteria. And the ranking of all the robots were again derived while integrating the newly calculated subjective weights along with COCOSO method. And this particular figure plots the values of the Spearman rank correlations for the Swara-COCOSO model, HP COCOSO model, then the Paprecia COCOSO model, then the BWM COCOSO model, and the FUCOM COCOSO methods. and the ranking of the candidate spray painting robots obtained using these combined methodologies are almost similar in nature, as the corresponding criteria weights are estimated subjectively. So it is expected that there may have insignificant deviations in the weight values, which can minimally affect the derived ranking orders. So it can be concluded that the Swara-Kokoso method have simple computational steps, and it can be effectively deployed in identifying the most appropriate robot for any of the spray painting operations. Finally, as conclusions, we can say that the Swara method is the first time it has been adopted to determine the subjective weights for in case of a particular robot selection applications. There has no application of this Swara method, particularly for robot selection in automotive industries. And based on a set preference order, the Swara method identifies the cost as the most important criterion. And application of the Kokoso method selects the FANUC. The actual model number was the FANUC P350IA/45 as the most suitable robot for the given spray painting task. Then we perform some comparative analysis in the context of ranking accuracy analysis against different well-popular NCDM methods to prove it efficacy in efficiently ranking the robot alternatives. And we also observed that the Swara method behaves similarly as compared to other subjective criteria weighting techniques, because we did not find any such major ranking changes when we adopted AHP, PWM, and other subjective weighting techniques. And as a future scope of this particular paper or the presentation, we can say that the alternative spray painting robots may be ranked while estimating the objective criteria weights also based on the randomness of the data of the information in the initial decision matrix. But in this case, we have to keep in mind that the preference order of the evaluation criteria may be distorted. Further, it can be also adopted with the Marcos method under fuzzy environment, or the Marcos which has been developed by our team. It can also be integrated with the other models. So these are some of the major references that we used for this paper. And this particular paper has been published in a journal called Informatica with an SCI impact factor of around 1.4. And this case study, along with the application of this model, has recently been published in this Informatica journal. So with this, thank you everyone. If you have any queries, if the participants are having any queries, so we can discuss it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now participants can unmute themselves to ask the questions, please. Or you may also write in the chat box if you have any query. Any questions? Okay. Thank you very much, sir. The lecture will be very beneficial for the researchers who are working in this area. And the lecture has also been given a gist to the relating applications in the decision analytics and the intelligent computing. Thank you very much, sir, for sparing your time. And we are also looking forward for such more sessions at Manav Rachna too, sir. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot, sir.
Thank you, Professor Khosla, for giving me the opportunity to share some of the thoughts that we did earlier in this related area. And thanks for giving the opportunity once again. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Now participants are requested to please be joined at 2 o'clock for the third session. As earlier informed also that today we have 4 sessions. 2 are already been there in the morning, and in the afternoon, 2 more sessions are there from 2 o'clock and then from 3 o'clock. Thank you so much. So all are requested to please join on time at 2 o'clock.